the OKC will sweep the Timberwolves. Probably not sweep, but a gentleman sweep, right? It's going to be a 4-1 win, easy win, maybe 4-2 at most. But people say we're going to take it to game 7. People say they're going to take it to game 6, right? Which even I'm saying to take it to game 6. But 4-2 is the most will get. 2 wins is the most they will get, right? I'm going to expose the Timberwolves team, right? First, we have Anthony Edwards, right? Now, let's not get it twisted. He is a top 10 player in the league right now. No doubt about it, right? Who is a top 1 player in the league. He is the best player in NBA right now. VP, for example, right? Now, let's not get it twisted. I, myself, am an OKC fan. I have only ever supported OKC. I haven't supported another team, so I might be a bit biased here. But even before we talk about OKC, we got to talk about Timberwolves and their race and their journey all the way to the conference finals, right? To face off against Oklahoma City Thunder. The first team they faced was LeBron James and the Lakers, right? Now, let's not get it twisted. It was an important game to win, right? The problem is people are calling him the Giant Slayer, the King Slayer, right? The Unk Slayer, for example, right? Okay, cool. You can call him that, right? And he has been slaying the Unks, right? Guess what the problem is? You beat a Lakers team with no center, right? So let me expose these guys real quick. The reason they won against the Lakers is because the Lakers don't have a center. I don't know what the coach is thinking. They don't have a center, whatever. They don't have a center. You have Rudy Gobert here, right? He's a pretty good center, right? He's very, very tall. He's 7'1", right? Who's guarding him? Tell me, who's guarding him? He was getting every offensive rebound. He was getting every defensive rebound. They were just chucking shots up at that point, right? And they just knew, okay, we have a French guy in the middle and in the paint, and he's just gonna get an easy rebound, right? Who's gonna stop him? Nobody, right? Then you got on the other team, so Rudy Gobert, right? In the rest of the playoffs so far, has not really excelled and played amazingly, right? But what we do know is against the Lakers, specifically against the Lakers, they played quite well. Now, why was it just against the Lakers, right? Why can't he play good against other centers, right? If it's another big on the other team, they can't do anything. He can't do anything. He can't just crash the offensive glass and think he's just going to get the rebound because he's just taller than everyone. In the Lakers series, yes, he was taller than everyone. Stephen Curry was injured first game, and after that, the Warriors just couldn't come back. I would have liked to see the Warriors in the finals, or at least the conference finals, but specifically only because of Steph Curry, right? I was Steph Curry Glazer, right? That's just how it is. But he got injured, and he wasn't able to come back. Without a Stephen Curry on the team, in my opinion, one of the greatest players to play basketball, right? When you have one of the greatest players to ever play basketball on a team, and he is removed from that team structure crumbles immediately, right? It's not like, oh, we got to work around it, we got to do this. The team's composure is just finished right there, right? Number one, we have an injured Steph Curry, right? And number two, Buddy Hield couldn't do as good of a job as he did against the Rockets, right? Against the Rockets, Curry and Buddy Hield were cooking. Buddy Hield just couldn't do that anymore. But we're not relying on Buddy Hield anymore, right? The Warriors are now relying on Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler, we've heard this many times, playoff Jimmy Butler, right? Playoff Jimmy, right? And to be fair, he took a absolutely trash Miami Heat team to the finals, right? He didn't win, unfortunately, but he took them to the finals, right? The fact that he carried that team to the finals. On the Warriors, there was close to no physicality, other than, Draymond Green, of course. But there was close to no physicality. I feel like the Timberwolves really used their physical prowess in that series, and that's what really pushed them over. Now, OKC, they can't. We've eliminated the Rudy Gobert power, and now we have the physical power, right? The strength. Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, right? These guys are strong guys, right? It's hard to fight these guys in the paint or even on the box out, right? But guess what? We have players like Luguentz Dort, right? Lou Dort is a powerhouse, strong guy. And we saw, I mean, look at the store. He was holding his post against Julius Randle in game 1, right? So we're gonna have to see some crazy stuff if these guys want to get some wins in, right? We're talking about Anthony Edwards. We held him in the 4th quarter to 0 points. You do have people that are strong on our team, right? Such as what I said, Ludo. We also got Jalen Williams, who's also a very strong guy, right? And then we got people like Alex Caruso, who is a pest on defense, right? He's not as strong as the others, but he can get in and out of places, and he can steal the ball out of nowhere, right? Alex Caruso was stealing a lot in game 1. We saw a lot of turnovers in game 1, and that's what the Oklahoma City Thunder do. They force the turnovers and win the points of turnovers, right? Pretty much all of their leads have been because of turnovers. Every single time, every single game they play, it's just if they force the turnovers enough, they get enough points of a lead, right? So you're playing the number 1 team in the West, right? In fact, the number 1 team in the NBA, right? They got the best record in the NBA regular season, and they were rated the highest or strongest defense team. But then you have the Timberwolves at number 2 strongest defense team. So what we saw in game 1 was throughout the first half of the game, it was an even game. In fact, the Timberwolves were actually winning most of the game, right? Before the second half started, we saw both teams struggle offensively, right? They couldn't finish on the ball. They couldn't strike as hard as they wanted to, right? Because we've had obviously SGA driving in the paint every single time, and you know the other team fouling them consistently, right? And obviously if he keeps picking up fouls like that, eventually they're just giving away 3 points, right? So they had to be a bit calmer on the defense, and that's actually what the Timberwolves coach said. Was after those first few fouls, we became less physical than we wanted to be. He says that we should have stayed more physical. That's what the Timberwolves coach said. In my opinion, it wasn't about the fouls. I think our team was just stronger. So how can you get physical against someone that's stronger than you, right? You can try to get physical as physical as you want, but we have the stronger guys, right, on all sides. I mean, Ludo versus Julius Randle. Julius Randle has the weight advantage, has a height advantage, and Ludo was still locking him down. Think about that for a sec, right? When you have an elite scorer like SGA, he is the MVP, right? He is the MVP for a reason. When you have an elite scorer like SGA who can do pretty much everything, right? You leave him open at the 3, he's gonna hit that 3. You give him too much space in the mid-range, he's going to fade away on you, right? He's going to step back, he's going to hit that mid-range jumper. You give him too much space in the paint, he's going to lay up on you, right? That shit's going to be cold. You don't want to leave SGA open at all, but guess what? If you don't leave him open if you don't want to leave him open and you get close on him, he's going to shoot in your face, right? He's going to shoot in your face, and that foul will be called, right? So it's just an antsy player to play with. You don't want to play against him. He's a hard player. And he's the best in the world at what he does, right? And the other thing I think that will take OKC over the line here is our deep bench. The Timberwolves doesn't really have a good bench, in my opinion. It just doesn't, right? If the star players are not on, if the main players are not on, it's just a hard day for the Timberwolves, right? If Anthony Edwards is not there 100%, the Timberwolves are not going to be there 100% either, right? Whereas with Oklahoma City Thunder, yes, we do have SGA, and without SGA, it's gonna be a difference. It's gonna be a massive difference. Let's say another one of our star players, such as Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso, any of these guys, if they get injured or anything, we have a deep bench. We can go far into our bench. In fact, a lot of our bench players can play as starters on other teams. It's 100%, I'd say, right? In fact, I'd say our bench players are a good starter team for the NBA. I don't know if I'm taking it too far there, but I actually believe that. In my opinion, all of these factors, specifically SGA being the best player in the world, of course, this is going to take us to a 4-1 gentleman's sweep. Let's go.